Today in the news, Washington Post. The intermittent fasting trend may pose risk to your heart. USA Today. Intermittent fasting flagged as serious health risk. CBS News. Study suggests intermittent fasting nearly doubles risk of death from heart disease.
Intermittent fasting, IF, and it finds that it may nearly double the risk of dying from a heart issue.
So yeah, fasting community got all riled up today by the American Heart Association report. Time-restricted eating linked to a 91% higher risk of cardiovascular death. Well, I've downloaded the presented PDF summary, so let's take a look at it and talk about what you should and shouldn't worry about when it comes to the fasting. Yes, there are some interesting nuances you should know about. And congratulations, by the way, for being here and the desire to go deeper than just the news headlines. There is a good reason why educated people live longer. It's one of the 12 pillars of longevity for many good reasons. So let's dive right in. First, historically, intermittent fasting has shown in multiple studies to improve short-term cardio parameters through the banal weight and especially visceral fat reduction, which leads to better glucose regulation, lower inflammation, improved insulin sensitivity, and even some extra non-calorie benefits if you can stick with real multi-day fasts. And here lies the first problem. Quite a few people I know have tried fasting, but not everyone can stick with it for long term. And it's a problem because if you look at the study design, it has asked at the enrollment if people were doing any timing restrictions, and that's all we know. Let me repeat that. All we know is that people at the enrollment, how many years ago, reported that they are into intermittent fasting. So let's use some common sense here. Is there something special about this particular group of people? Are they as healthy as the average person, or perhaps they have some extra weight to lose? I mean, imagine if today we start a new study and only select people who are about to do a heart surgery. And in 10 years, we compare them, whoever left, to the general population. Would you be surprised that people with serious heart issues had higher mortality rates? Probably not. Does it mean that surgeries are a bad thing and the real problem, or they just help us to select the less healthy population? Welcome to the healthy user bias and reverse causation, because overweight people, 1, accumulate heart plaque faster, and 2, are more likely to try fasting. And even in the case of successfully sticking with fasting, which is not easy, accumulated plaque doesn't go anywhere. Best case scenario, it calcifies, but it still creates higher risk regardless if the weight was lost or not. And if not, it's a double risk. So, what was the weight in the beginning and at the end of the study period?
Don't know.
Have they eaten enough protein? Because losing muscle is a legit concern for any fasting regimen. We don't know. Was they breakfast eaters or dinner eaters? We don't know, but is it important? Hell yes. We all run on circadian hormonal rhythms and it affects health big time. And if you practice intermittent fasting, it's the minimum you should do it correctly and pay attention to them. Also, did you know that what we usually call intermittent fasting is not really named intermittent fasting in the medical literature to begin with? Well, here's the video where I do a deep dive into modern fasting science, autophagy, and the best practices to maximize the benefits and minimize the risks. Living is smart, aging is bad, so don't worry about this study, worry about doing intermittent fasting correctly. I'll see you there.